The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program. These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human.
That's absolutely insane. Whoa, look at that takeoff. Y'all, just because I'm on a break doesn't mean UFOs are. They're everywhere. So today I'm treating you guys to a clear UFO footage compilation, including footage you've likely never seen before. Today you're going to check out a massive UFO experts can't explain, the wild UFO files that reveal the different alien species, and raw UFO footage they tried to hide from you. So grab a snack, smash like, sit back, and enjoy. While the US government confirms UFO footage after UFO footage after UFO footage, I think it's important that we still continue to look at the objects that we are seeing in the skies right now, like unexplained craft hovering a little too close to the ground, flashing orbs, and so much more. UFOs Today starts now. We're starting in Sao Paulo, Brazil, May 13th, 2026, where witnesses looked up and saw this strange UFO. And you guys know it's not the plane, which I thought at first when I saw this clip. I'm like, what are you recording? It's that weird light above the plane. What the hell is that? What is that? What is it doing up there? As they zoom in, you can even see the clouds kind of blocking it and casting shadows as they pass, meaning it's not a light being cast onto the clouds, it's sitting behind the clouds. What is that? What could be sitting behind the clouds that causes a light like that in the sky? That makes no sense. Next, we have some more UFOs declassified by the US government May 13th, 2026, and highlighted by Jeremy Corbell. These are absolutely fascinating clips, and they appear on the Jeremy Corbell Weaponized podcast. And you're gonna actually see several different types of UFOs. Personally, I'm very interested in this one, this very first one, and we'll talk about why in just a little bit. The way it disappeared was crazy. But you're also going to get them tracking these strange objects across the sky. Orbs, sometimes in delta formation, or as you can see, just seemingly in an erratic formation, but definitely flying together. I don't know if you guys consider this a USO because it was so close to the water. But guys, this is absolutely insane that we're actually getting... Look how fast that was! I'm sorry, I'm freaking out. The way that it just flew past the plane is crazy to me. And again, I'm just so glad we're getting all this footage. While I love all of these, including this orb, which is freaking cool, like I said, I'm really focused on that first one because it actually reminds me of the jellyfish UFO. And I know that you guys will see the same thing once you see them side by side. Isn't that uncanny? Like, is that the same type of UFO or the same type of craft? We really need more answers. And it doesn't end there. Mid-flight, May 14th, 2026, witnesses captured what I call a glowing disc from their plane window. This is such a fascinating sighting. Smash like and take a look. And the witness said that although you couldn't see it on video, it was kind of warbling and maybe mixing, again, like they said before, almost gooey, which is to me like plasma. And what's happening in the skies? On top of the pillars of light in Brazil, over the United States in March of 2026, witnesses have been seeing strange rod formations and pillar-like UFOs as well. Now, as I look at these, I think of maybe some type of exhaust from a jet or something, but the witnesses say that there weren't any other crafts or sounds around, and even when they drove closer, they saw nothing that could explain these strange pillars in the sky. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. And while from that angle you couldn't really tell, and maybe it could be explained, it reminded me of this other UFO sighting from June of 2023, which was a cigar shape clearly in the sky, and it wasn't made by anything. What is this? And y'all, this elongated craft, this was over the United States as well. And this is a couple years ago, and that's definitely not exhaust or a smoke trail. It's a cylinder in the sky.
I don't know. No idea.
Look, bud. Look at the sky.
What's that? That? What's the logo? sleeping on.
When is he gonna wake up?
I don't know.
Then there's Mexico, May 3rd, 2026, where witnesses saw what they call a ring orb in the sky before it blasted outward. Now, some people are saying that this could be a rocket launch. From what some people have looked up on May 3rd, there shouldn't have been anything in the sky. There is still research happening, so I'll definitely let you know if anything gets updated. It is fascinating though, and it does look really freaking cool, regardless of whatever it could be. And guys, if you're having fun and enjoying these UFO sightings and you want to see more, smash like. It's free and it goes a long way in helping the channel. There's also the orbs that have returned to Victoria, Australia. This occurred May 1st, 2026. And it's not the first time we've seen orbs in Australia. This is getting really interesting. Look at how they just hover. I mean, for a while until you see the movement, it's almost like little stars, right? Until you see them compared to the actual stars in the sky, and you see that they're so faint, and they are, in fact, moving. And there's a lot of them. What the hell is this, guys? This, like, even though they're so faint, that's so weird to me.
Pretty cool with a full moon coming up.
Stranger still is the fact that we get a very similar sighting in Bronx, New York. And this occurred May 15th, 2026. I love this sighting because, again, we're seeing these orbs. However, they are more prominent in my opinion and do seem to make closer to a delta formation. The thing is that in New York City, regardless of the borough, there's usually so much light pollution that you can't see much out there. So just the fact that we're even seeing them is absolutely fascinating in my opinion. And all of those orbs look very similar to the orbs over China, May 10th, 2026. Very similar to what we saw in Kentucky, very similar to what we saw in New York, and similar to what we just saw in Australia. These weird orbs in the skies are being seen everywhere, and y'all, we have no answers. What's weirder still is the orb with the green glow that looks very much like the glow given off by the UFO that crash landed in Las Vegas and led to the Angel Kenmore Aliens in Backyard event. Now, I'm not saying that these events are exactly connected, but I do find it weird how these orbs are appearing everywhere, and I do find it stranger how that green light looks so close to the eerie light that we saw over Angel Kenmore's house through the police body cam footage during the Las Vegas UFO incident. Because remember, it wasn't just Angel calling the police, it's that right before all this happened, on police body cam footage, we saw this ish fall out of the sky and on everyone's ring cam. And now we're seeing this everywhere? Make it make sense. Then over in Argentina, April 5th, 2026, witnesses saw what they're considering a mothership craft in the sky. I mean, this thing did look huge and had crazy shimmering lights all over it. Although you couldn't really see the shape, I could see it being a saucer shape with these glimmers of lights and these flashing lights. It is very fascinating. And I want to hear you guys in the comments below. What do you guys think about this cool sighting? Now, what's super interesting about this sighting is that it does clear up just a little bit as we get further into the video. The lights and the coloring make less sense. And even though in parts of the video you see it closer to the ground, it does eventually take off. It goes upward and we get pictures of that as well. And it's just such a mind-blowing and fascinating sighting. Like now it's higher up. Where's it going? What's it doing? Where'd it come from? Why do we have no answers to these fascinating sightings? Honestly, those lights remind me of the Corbin, Kentucky event. This took place December 31st, 2024, and witnesses also saw strange lights close to the ground. A little too close. They were moving through the woods and literally freaked the witnesses out. All they could do was record in shock. And honestly, it is such an eerie capture. the way it slowly moves across through the woods is so weird to me. And again, when we get this different composition, a different look to the lights, it looks very much like what we just saw in Argentina. Speaking of Argentina, we jump right back. May 18th, 2026, where witnesses saw this strange shimmering craft hovering in the sky. When they started recording, it started moving. Were the witnesses being watched? Was this object aware it was being recorded? It really makes you think what level of intelligence or just how advanced these things are. And if they are so advanced and they're not doing anything against us or for us, what exactly are they doing? And what are they here for? This is such an interesting sighting. And as if shimmering wasn't enough, Oklahoma, May 10th, 2026, witnesses saw this strange object in the sky. At first, they thought it may have been a plane because it had some green blinks to it, but then the witnesses noticed the colors that started flashing off of it didn't really match with any planes. And then the object starts this weird, blinding flash of light that lights up nearly the whole area beneath it and shocks the witnesses. This one actually has great commentary, and I want you to hear how they're freaking out. Smash like and take a listen.
Dude, it's like these things are spawning out of nowhere.
That can't be legal.
Dude, they are flashing right at us.
That's gotta be against FAA regulations, bro. It has to be.
What is this shit? Flashing at us like that, dude. What is that doing, man?
It's like rotating on an axis.
What the fuck? I gotta get back in frame. What is the...
I mean, honestly, I love UFOs, and I would definitely record a UFO if I saw it. But if it started flashing towards me, I'm out. They might not even mean harm. But what if their tech is so advanced they're just blasting you with radiation without knowing? Nah, I'm cool, bruh. There's also this resurfaced clip from Indonesia, August 3rd, 2025. And I wanted to add it because I found it very interesting. This UFO is actually stationary in the sky, which is what freaked the witnesses out more. They're used to planes and even drones and sometimes choppers, but this thing seemed like a almost cone-like at the bottom, orb-like at the top, and it just hovered there with no explanation. Fascinating. Information about the non-human biologics that have been retrieved from UFO crashes is coming to light, even being covered in the mainstream and on the news. This includes information about UFO species like the Nordics, the reptilians, the insectoids, and the greys. Yes, that reptilian is wearing a spacesuit. I don't know how accurate that is. But don't take it from me. Listen to the news.
UFO files a few weeks back, and we just found out over 1 billion people have visited the site. 1 billion. It's got to be a record. The War Department says more files will be released soon. UFO experts and top researchers have been investigating aliens for years. Their sources say dozens of crashed UFOs have been recovered, and what they found inside, shocking.
And do people think that there's one type of non-human intelligence that's visiting the Earth, or is there many, many types?
People who have been involved in recoveries have said
there are at least 4 separate types. Now, I have not had direct access to that, but I believe the people who I talked to.
4 different types of life.
4 different types of life.
4 different species of aliens. Another scientist called them greys, Nordics, insectoids, and reptilians. All of them have 2 arms and 2 legs, just like us. Experts speculate the reptilians are scaly with long tails, like a lizard. Insectoids look like a praying mantis. The greys look like your classic movie alien, and the Nordics look like a regular Swedish guy, but 7 feet tall. We haven't seen the evidence, but Pete Hegseth says more evidence is coming, and there are a lot of believers in Congress.
I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion.
Releasing the files isn't easy. They've been hidden for years, and a lot of people want to keep it that way.
The problem we have right now is the deep state's fighting the president on release, and he kept his word, and I suspect some of our not-so-friendly comrades and some of our alphabet agencies are slow walking a lot of the information. It's about power, it's about control, and that's kind of what runs Washington.
So why is our own government fighting so hard to keep these secret? Well, a dozen scientists have either gone missing or died. Now, we don't know if that's related, but people are scared to talk.
One I thought was going to do an interview, and then a couple days before sent me a message saying, after further consideration and long talks with my wife, I decided I'd be forfeiting my life if I participated in your interview. And I thought that was like very unsettling message to get, obviously, but also very specific word choice, you know, forfeiting my life.
And y'all, not only do I find this fascinating, and not only does it make me excited for the next batch of UFO files, but it makes me want to take another look at some previous alien encounters that may have been dismissed too soon. Specifically, and not that it's great, a scary event. The Peru Belacara. We've covered this before, and the government poo-pooed it as drug cartels on jetpacks. But now, with this new information, I feel like we need to take another look, because the information about alien species seems to be corroborating the Las Vegas UFO incident with Angel Kenmore and the Peru Belacaras. So guys, please sit back and take a look at this. Don't worry, beer's on me, because I think you're going to need it today. Enjoy.
This is Telemundo's coverage of the events as they unfolded, with translations in English on the screen.
Los habitantes le disparan a los supuestos seres, como ven, medio de la noche. Los vecinos dicen que están aterrorizados. Ellos describieron a los entes como gigantes que miden casi 7 pies de altura y que visten trajes que parecen de astronautas. Vamos a escuchar.
This gentleman here is describing the extraterrestrials as about 7 feet tall and dressed almost like astronauts, with their clothes covering their body and protecting them, presumably from our atmosphere.
Los miembros de la comunidad están haciendo vigilias por las noches para protegerse y tratar de capturar a los supuestos seres extraterrestres que dicen habrían atacado a una joven.
Now, it's absolutely insane that even with news reports, like Telemundo has done coverage on this several times, and most of the rest of the media doesn't take it seriously, and even the reporter in Telemundo is like, no, this young lady was attacked. Like, the reporter was like, I saw the girl. She's not in good condition. This is a serious situation. And it's just absolutely stunning to me that we just overlook it. I get excited about UFOs too, don't get me wrong, and I still am. But we get so excited for the next sighting that when events like this happen, we talk about it for a day and then just wham, move on. Now I want to showcase a little bit more, because in Peru, they've actually tried their best to capture some of these creatures. This next clip is actually from 2018, when they were trying to capture what it was that was hanging around in their trees, jumping on their roofs, making strange noises, and picking off their people. Check this out.
This was recorded by one of the villagers in 2018. Not only does their reaction make me feel like this is genuine, but the way that this creature is moving through the trees, and the trees actually hiding it, like it's behind the objects, it's not hyperimposed or superimposed on it. Like, I think this is very authentic. Look how lanky this thing is. Its neck is so thin and long. This is wild.
Again, that was an older clip that they recorded, but I chose to demonstrate that because it was a much clearer clip, a clearer visual of that being walking through the woods. They actually did capture something on rooftops during the recent Belacara incident. I don't personally think it was as clear. Some people did try to sharpen it. I'll leave it up to you how you think, or what you think is actually in that clip. Check it out.
This is the original footage from the village that started everything trending recently. And we have Drew on Twitter to thank for slowing this down and analyzing it. I'll have that linked in the description. Here we have that zoomed in and sharpened video. The problem with the video is that it was taken, on an inferior camera at nighttime. So its ISO and exposure are horrible to try and capture something like this. We can glean a little bit of information from this analysis though, even though the quality isn't quite up to par with what we want. You can see what appears to be a creature or an entity peeking out behind a bush or some shrubbery. I will try to grab a still and showcase this to you guys. Just a warning again, it is blurry because the video itself isn't great quality. So me trying to grab a screenshot to point out what is being seen, again, it's not going to be the best quality, but let's check it out. So this is what we get with the enhancement. It's blurry, so a lot of people are making more of it than I think it actually is. I think the bulk of this image is actually shrubbery, where you're gonna see the head pop out behind, like right here. I definitely think that this is something peeking from behind the bushes of the shrubbery that are behind those phone wires up there. You can actually even see the eyes. Check this out, this is what I think. That's how I've highlighted it. I see a big head and those big old almond-shaped eyes kind of partially obscured behind something. What do you guys think? This is what that original image of the enhanced video looks like. Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing there? I'm gonna replay the original video with some zoom and no edits for you guys to see if you guys see it as well. Let me know what you think in the comments. And all the villagers were going crazy. I mean, and rightfully so. You couldn't really make it out completely. I know I tried to, show you guys the eyes and stuff. But whatever the case, it's still freaking weird. If you were actually there and you were seeing some extraordinary-ish flying around and on your rooftops, no, hell no, I'd be freaking out too. It's crazy. And people are really scared, again, because these things are attacking individuals. The pela cara is the face peeler. It's been peeling faces off. There was a clip that was taken from YouTube, and I can't re-upload it because it's very gruesome. But yes, there is evidence. You could go on other websites and just type in pela cara, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You can't see it on YouTube, but you can see it elsewhere. Not for the faint of heart, just while you look that up. But there are other creatures that are being seen all over Peru as well. Some believe that it is maybe a battle of good and evil, because there's also these light beings, and they are they're very bright. It's like they emit their own light, and some say that they scare off these other strange shadow entities. And it's crazy because we talk about the aspect of religion sometimes on this channel, and it's like, could this be what ancient people were thinking of, like demons and angels, or good versus bad? It makes you really, really wonder. Check this out, let me know what you think.
As of right now, more and more information is being released about the mysterious entities that were sighted in Peru. Oddly enough, since the topic has been trending, locals have been posting photographs of the alleged creatures, with some describing them as giving off bright lights, while others have said that they have big heads with large eyes.
What I love most about this picture is that not only is it a great shot, but it actually showcases a lot of the alleged characteristics of these entities. We're seeing a bright light, we're seeing a big head, and we can assume big eyes on a big head.
To investigate.
Now, with all that we've seen, you would think, okay, well, other media is going to start picking up on it. What do they have to say? Because I told you, Telemundo's covering it. No one else seems to be taking it seriously. Well, the other media did start covering it. And they went on an entire strange disinformation campaign where they start interviewing villagers and telling them, oh, is this what you saw? And having them hold up a phone, and then they showcase a dude on a jetpack. What they say, it was like gold mine gangsters on jetpacks. That was the official word. What? And then look how they had this girl holding up. I even found the clip where that picture of the jetpack dude is from, and it's not the Peru Pera Cara
situation. Y'all, I'm still pissed at this. Check this out.
With outlets claiming that the 7-foot-tall aliens are actually a gold mining gang on jetpacks. On jetpacks. With the outlets using this image of a young lady holding up a photo of a person on a jetpack saying that this is what attacked them. However, a quick reverse search of this image shows you that is actually a flipped screenshot from this particular video. What's more is that they actually left the metadata included on the image that they use in the article, and photos that we take on our phone do not usually include metadata like this. This is a post. And really, like, that just, again, I'm pissed. Just watching it again, I'm pissed. And that's what made me make this video again, to bring this back, to put it back on the forefront of your mind. Talk about the Peru Palacaras again, because one, no one's been talking about it. And two, no one's been talking about it because of this disinformation campaign. Like, literally, the media came in, they were like, oh yeah, gold mine gangsters in jetpacks. And everyone's like, all right, dudes in jetpacks, and like, let it go. As I just showed you, that was not dudes in jetpacks. That jetpack picture wasn't even from the Peru Palacara situation. They just used that to shut everyone up, and now no one talks about it anymore. More and more UFO sightings are being seen all over the world as the US government confirms UFO sightings through war.gov. And these past couple of weeks have been no different. We're gonna check out strange crafts in Delta Formation, weird star-shaped UFOs, and even a UFO showcasing instantaneous acceleration. We're jumping right into Oregon, May 23rd, 2026. Where witnesses saw these strange lights in the sky. They were blinking erratically, and the witness said that before they started recording, the lights seemed to appear in the sky, one at a time, individually. Then, as they started blinking and freaking out, the person started recording. You can even kind of see that one of the lights kind of fades away a little bit later in the video. What do you guys think this could be? Now that's a very interesting sighting because the blinking lights weren't FAA red and green lights, they were just all white. And then the fact that the witness claims that these things appeared one at a time, that's very anomalous. Over in Brazil, May 25th, 2026, witnesses saw this craft in Delta Formation streaking across the sky. Oddly enough, especially with how bright this UFO is as we're seeing this video, the witness claims it was actually harder to see this craft with their eyes than it was in the recording, which I find fascinating. It's almost like they have a cloaking mechanism that works on our eyes, but not always on our technology. I think back to a lot of the UFOs that we call on thermal imaging that weren't visible to the naked eye. Meanwhile, over Louisiana in the United States, May 22nd, 2026, witnesses captured this strange object, which in my opinion, honestly does seem to look like a flying saucer. It looks like a flat disc with maybe a bulbous bottom, and with that I'm going to assume a bulbous top, giving us that traditional flying saucer shape. I love seeing UFOs like this because, one, it makes me feel like it's still the 90s, and two, it really makes me feel like this technology of theirs, of these other species, does advance. However, they do still use what I would consider their older tech, because we don't say flying saucers as much as we used to. So I just love the fact that they're still a thing. Now, I will make note that I saw a similar sighting like this before, and honestly, I feel like it draws a striking resemblance, but I can't quite put my finger on where that sighting was. I will keep digging. It's one of the strangest UFO clips I've ever seen. I'm trying to get as much information on this UFO as possible because it literally blew my mind. What I've been able to gather from the metadata of the raw video is that this occurred August 22nd, 2022. Some of the files were corrupt and I can't seem to extract the location. However, it's still a fascinating UFO. Take a look. See how it's so strange and star-shaped? It reminds me of the UFO released from Ukraine and the star UFO released from the government. Only this is not a thermal imaging camera. So this is what it actually looks like that weird dark void. And behind it is this strange, almost illuminated orange. You guys see how, even as they're zoomed out, that orange part almost looks luminous. Did it just split into two? What the hell? Yo, I'm watching this in real time with you guys to get this reaction, so I'm... What? That just made it even more anomalous. I can tell you, I've never seen anything like that. And seeing this clip does make me feel like the government clip and the Ukraine clip are more authentic. I know some people thought it may have been lens flare, but honey, this does not look like a lens flare to me. This just looks crazy. What is the orange? What is the orange? What? Did it just... Was that just instantaneous acceleration? No, okay, I was gonna say child, or it is, because at the end of the video, it was further away. So that was instantaneous acceleration. It cleared most of the sky in no time. That is such a wild sighting, and I'm gonna keep digging, and I hope I can find more information about it for you. Now, speaking of instantaneous acceleration, we have another clip with another example. This one confirmed by the government, and I find it fascinating. It was actually covered on NBC News, and it's the UFO from Syria in 2021. But what I love most about this coverage, and why I really want you to watch it and take it in, is that the host himself is seeing this and freaking out because finally he feels comfortable enough to tell the public about his UFO story he had as a child with the similarities to this instantaneous acceleration. And it's fascinating, and honestly, it's raw and authentic, and I love it. Smash like, take a look.
Wait for it, tracking that object, it's gone. Immediately, we could slow it down just a little bit. It gets a lock here, and then it loses that lock, and then again, they're calling it instant acceleration. And when I saw it, I gotta admit, like, it made me feel very, very weird. And here is why. Bear with me here. One night, when I was around 9, 10 years old, my dad was driving me back from whole Boy Scouts. We were going home from Boy Scouts, and we were driving through the New Mexico desert on the outskirts of Albuquerque. And I remember my dad and I were sitting in the car, we were going down Paradise Boulevard, and then we see this light. And I thought at first it was a helicopter, but as it got closer to the car, it suddenly stopped and then just zoomed away. Instant. Very similar to that instant acceleration, but it was more like a check mark, and then it just disappeared. And my dad and I, we looked at each other. He shouted "ovni," which in Spanish is UFO, and then we rushed home. We told our family, and then that was basically it. Like, very anticlimactic. I have no idea if what we saw was some sort of test from Kirkland Air Force Base or Sandia National Labs, or if I was just like an impressionable kid who watched Star Wars way too many times and saw the Millennium Falcon just dart off. I don't trust a 30-year-old memory, but seeing this kind of acceleration, it is eerily similar to what I'm pretty sure I saw.
And I love how he's like, wait for it, wait, like he's getting so animated and excited. And I love that because that's how I feel when I watch UFO videos. And I genuinely believe his UFO sighting story, because if you guys watch that clip, you can see how he starts off talking about it like it's part of the segment, but then he comes alive and becomes animated because he's like reliving the moment. I feel like that was, again, just so genuine and authentic, and I'm so happy he was able to share that, and I hope you guys are able to appreciate that as well. Now we're jumping back to Brazil, May 25th, 2026, where witnesses stood outside and captured these strange anomalies all night long. As they noticed them the night before, they came prepared this time, and they captured quite a few fast movers in the sky. They have cross-reference satellites apps, they have cross-reference plane apps, they've checked Sky Guide. There should be nothing in that airspace. And yet, we get this.
Olha. Aham, tô vendo. Um em cima, um embaixo. Um em cima, um embaixo, né? Ó, o triângulo lá. Olha só. Ó pra aí, como tá grande.
Aí, agora foi um movimento...
Diga aí, fez um movimento bem diferente, não foi? Ó, tem uma mais em cima, outra embaixo e uma lá atrás. Uma lá atrás ainda.
Tô vendo, lá atrás e assim. Embaixo também não.
Olha lá, aparecendo, viu? Tá aparecendo lá, ó. Ó pra aí, ó que bonito. Caramba, que lindo, velho. Olha, tem outra. Eu vi, sabe o quê? Eu não sei, mas eu tenho certeza que é a GNA. A GNA também tá embaixo. Eu vi a luz aqui agora, porque eu tô filmando e tô olhando do lado. Eu não tô olhando pra câmera, não. Ah, pô, eu vi a GNA, velho.
Embaixo?
Isso, ela lá de novo. Olha, elas fizeram agora uma curva diferente, viu? Sério, vai passar bem perto da estrela maior. Vai passar e passou.
Tchau, garotos. Foi ali embaixo.
Aham, é embaixo.
Ô, garotona.
Olha, que bonito.
Ela vai assim, ó, depois vai subindo.
Vai subindo, ela sobe um pouquinho, depois ela muda.
So strange and so fascinating, and those movements are undeniable, especially when the two UFOs were like flying side by side. Now we're way past satellite territory and normal stuff. What do you mean they're flying side by side? Through the cosmos, because how high up are they that they look like little dots? What's happening in our skies? Yet another great couple of weeks of fascinating UFO stories and fascinating UFO sightings as the government confirms these things to be real. Honestly, it makes me so excited, and I cannot wait for the next UFO files to drop.